Chapter 1090. Wilbur sneered coldly while he whipped the man. He felt great inside. He could not believe that the man was Stanley Lowes. Stanley was the director of Cape Consortium back then. He bumped into him, but he acted arrogantly. He was scolded by Faye, and he was transferred back to the headquarters for his punishment. However, Stanley clearly had no remorse. Wilbur could not believe that he conspired with Seachertown gangster Lightning Hank to kill him. Stanley was taken out in the end, and he was sent to prison. However, he somehow ended up in the industrial park. It did not matter. Wilbur did not mind teaching another lesson to someone who tried to kill him. The whips kept coming. Stanley rolled around in pain and fear as crept in as if he had encountered the most terrifying demon in hell. He was arrested in prison back then. However, he had money and some friends. It took a lot of effort for him to be bailed out. Then, he snuck out of the country with a few $1,000,000 with him. He did not expect to run into scammers when he left, and he was tricked to North Manand. As expected, the money on him was taken away. He was transferred around multiple times, and he ended up with Yannick. He had no money when he ended up with Yannick, so he endured inhumane treatment every day. His fate was worse than death. He ended up in such a terrifying place, so he could not believe that he had run into Wilbur again. He suspected that Wilbur was behind everything he endured. He felt like all his suffering was arranged by Wilbur. Stanley was shaken to his soul when he thought of that. He instantly had a mental breakdown and started to speak gibberish. In just an instant, Stanley became deranged. Wilbur sighed to himself when he saw that, and kept whipping. Stanley tried to kill him, so they had grudges. However, torturing someone was not something he wanted to do. A powerful force was channeled into the whip, causing Stanley to die on the spot. Wilbur tossed the whip and walked out of the prison cell. He looked at Lucian coldly. Lucian patted his shoulder and smiled. Two doctors and their assistants walked in with a surgery table. Lucian received a call at that moment. He hung up after a brief conversation, then told Wilbur, "Follow me. The daughter of the Mua Border Military's general, Demi Madres, is going to visit our industrial park. Our employer wants everyone to welcome them." Wilbur glanced at Stanley on the surgery table and scoffed coldly. After that, he followed Lucian out of the room. Yannick led hundreds of armed guards to the entrance of the industrial park, including Lucian, Chuck, and Wilbur. They waited in rows to welcome Demi. There were more than 10 human trafficking hotspots in North Manand. Also, they were supported by Manand's military forces, so they were lawless. They paid for the local forces each month, which was the main income of those organizations, which was why they prioritized protecting the industrial parks. The armed guards were neutral. They could fight with or against the government. The Manand government could only tackle one human trafficking case at a time, which was very inefficient. These industrial parks earn a lot of profit with human trafficking and organ selling. After all, no one would give up on profit like that. Some of the politicians in the Manand government were also in it. They earned profits along with the armed guards. Therefore, there was no solution to eradicating the local forces. Mua Town was under the jurisdiction of the border military. The general of the border military was corrupted like the other forces. They had the authority to receive taxes, govern the land, and so on. They were the local tyrants. More than 10 of the industrial parks running scams in Mua treated the border military general as their protector. They did not dare to disrespect him. As one of the major leadership figures in the industrial park at the moment, Wilbur stood behind Yannick as he looked forward.